Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with returning designated drinker, lipsologist Ariana Lightningstorm. So if you've missed part 1, what do you got to do, Gina? You got to go back, belly up to that bar, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it a listen first.
I just keep staring at my lips now.
Yeah, I know.
What's happening?
I was gonna say we'll save a seat for everyone, right? Or maybe you can save a kiss for them since you've got such.
Oh, like a kissing booth?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ariana, in part 1, you shared what it is to be a lipsologist, a little bit about your background that got you to this art form. So if anyone missed it, they need to go back to part 1, like I said. But will you explain again what lipsology is?
Absolutely. So lipsology is the art and science of reading lip prints, not lips, because I can't tell you what you said across the room if I can't hear you.
That's funny. I never thought of that.
That's why I so emphasize prints.
Yes.
When I tell about that. It's important. So it tells you personality traits, energy levels, emotions, what's going on with you in the moment based on your kiss on a card that I make specifically for your party or event or your private reading. And it's something that's very special because it's an icebreaker for the party, and then it's a memento because people can not only have their own pretty kisses on the card, and they may not be what they think of as pretty, it's okay, they're still informative. And it tells you, so when they go home, they've got something to put somewhere special that's a memento about the party, but it's also something that's about them. So it's a really fun thing, and I find it really amazing. I do it at bridal showers and bachelorettes and birthday parties and weddings and holidays and corporate events, and you name it, I've done it. Practically.
Hello. The funny thing is, in part 1, we talked about how long you have known Ariana. I actually met her before she was on the show as well. The timing was like, it was crazy. You literally said, I met her at an American Advertising Federation event that she was there. It was a networking event. And I kid you not, like the next week, you were like, we need to have this lipsology on the show. And I was, not that you sound like that at all.
Also, I love that I sound like Julia Childs. Yes. Yes. That is it. I'm trying to channel her. Hello.
I don't know where I got it from.
I know.
But it was just so crazy that you literally
I am not doing, I will not continue this podcast unless you only speak like Julia Childs from now on. Thank you. I can't even hear you.
I don't even know where that came from. But literally the timing was just crazy. I had just met her at this event randomly, and you brought her up. It is.
It's where you're supposed to be. Right?
You know what should be happening now?
What?
Let's get this lady a cocktail.
All right, you want to do a cocktail? Let's do a cocktail top of the show.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, this is my favorite time of year, persimmons, right? I always find a new way, interesting way of using persimmons. You shop for them, you want them nice and squishy, they're delicious. You let them ripen a little bit on your counter. They're so good with seafood also, just a little tip. What we did was we made, and I'll put this on the recipe, I made a persimmons simple syrup using Sauvignon Blanc. So basically I took our guts of the persimmons, I put it in a pot with 1 cup of the persimmons, 1 cup of sugar, put it in the pot, let it caramelize those 2 ingredients, and then I deglaze the pot with the Sauvignon Blanc for 1 cup. So it's 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup, and boom, here is your persimmon syrup. And what's amazing about it is that, you can smell the wine, but it's intoxicatingly how good the smell is. Okay, so you're like, okay, whatever. What are you gonna do with this? Well, here's what we're gonna do with this. We're going to make a persimmons pisco sour because you can. And we have a few eggs that the earth has given us from my farm. I don't know if you know this, but in the wintertime, chickens don't lay eggs. So it's funny, you get 1, 2, 3 eggs. I got 3 eggs yesterday. 2 came here, fresh eggs for everybody, right? So when we're making a pisco sour, the one thing we want to do, you want to start off with is you want to take your egg yolk and egg white and separate it into the top part of your shaker tin. You never put it on top where the cocktail is going to go. And then you're going to take 2 ounces of your persimmon syrup, and you have little chunks of persimmons in there as well, and we're going to double strain this. So it doesn't really matter how much goes in there, but 2 ounces. And then we're gonna take a 1 ounce of lemon juice, and we're gonna cut it fresh is best. This knife is ridiculous. My father's knife today, because I need it for something else I'm going to show you how to do. So I needed this giant, huge knife. And notice I'm not squeezing the lemon juice on top of our egg white and persimmon syrup, because you do not want to put the lemon directly on top of that. I need some help, Louise. Can you just help me today?
Look, and I come with gifts.
Yeah, I'm like completely frazzled
It's
today.
okay.
I don't know.
It's okay. It's the first one of the year.
I know.
Getting through the cobwebs.
I know. We're gonna do 2 ounces of pisco. Now, I love a good pisco. I had this pisco in my house, but Diablata is a very good pisco to make with this cocktail. This one's pretty. It's good. It's not Diablata. I love Diablata. I just didn't have any. So Melanie, if you're listening, you could drop some off. That would be awesome. All right. So we have in here our persimmon simple syrup.
Okay.
With a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc, and then we have our egg whites, and then we have 2 ounces of pisco, and then 1 ounce of lemon juice, and we are going to top and dry shake. So you can just top, make Ariana's.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna top it. Go ahead, pour it in.
Which one do I pour first?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Go. Ready? And then we're just gonna shake. So you're gonna dry shake. Dry shake means no ice, right? And this is the most important part of your cocktail because you want it to get frosty. If it starts to leak out of the sides, which mine is.
Look at me.
Let me see yours. Well, don't be so cocky.
Oh, I don't know. Am I ready?
What? No, you're not ready. Keep
Okay.
shaking.
Okay, keep shaking.
If yours is doing that, like mine just did. Let me see. Oh my God, yours is beautiful.
Ha-ha!
Mine is not beautiful.
Success.
Yours is really pretty.
Okay.
Imagine that cocktail's gonna be good. That's weird. All right, after you dry shake, you get a beautiful white foam, and then we have the one perfect cocktail that's happening. You're gonna add 3/4 full of ice, and we're gonna shake this again. And I apologize that you don't have a cocktail.
Okay.
Well, even our guests not gonna get the cocktail. Oh my God. All right, and when you can write your name on your tin, which we can, your cocktail is ready to pour. Oh my God, it smells so good. All right, we're gonna take this out and we're gonna double strain. Because remember, we have in there all of that goopy deliciousness. Beautiful color. It's such a pretty color. It's like the palest, like coral.
And what are you topping it with?
Sorry, I'm topping it off with a little bit of flowers that are in salt. I'm actually not using the salt, I'm just using the flower itself, because the flower petals itself are salty enough. And normally you could use this to do a cocktail, whatever, and you just put a little bit in there. And it makes it very beautiful and very tasty. And my cocktail in honor of Miley Cyrus is called I Can Buy Myself Flowers. So happy Valentine's Day. Cheers.
So what do you think of the cocktail? Sure is pretty.
It is pretty. That's the first thing I saw. I was like, wow, it's beautiful. And it's really delicious. It literally said when I took the sip, it's like, okay, now I know I like this.
I like that the persimmons is like literally giving it like this crazy, like it's the wine. It's the wine and the persimmons. It doesn't, the densities don't like.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
It's beautiful layering.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so it's delicious.
So flowers in salt. I've not seen that before.
The little pansies.
Yeah.
So our friend, that's no longer. There was this beautiful woman-owned microgreenery in DC, and they used to take all their extra flowers and put it in pyramid salts, and they can use it as a finishing salt for like salads and cocktails and
pretty.
stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, that business is right now is on a hiatus. So yeah, hopefully they come back.
Hopefully.
They're so lovely.
It's really pretty. It's very pretty. Well done, Gina. It's lovely.
Maybe I'll do that with my flowers this year. I'll just start gathering them and salting all my flowers.
Yeah. Can you do that? Well, obviously, you have to be careful. Just
edible flowers, like lavender buds and some of your roses aren't sprayed roses, pansies, and oregano or your flowers, like all your herbs bloom, all those blooms, everything.
Oh, that would be
Yeah,
really
he's
cool.
put them in salt and they look really pretty.
Violets.
Violets, wild violets would work. I'm trying to think what else blooms. Oh, like if you want to, if you don't want your strawberries or you don't want your raspberry, you can take all those flowers and use those.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, where the
Blackberries.
oh,
Yeah. Blackberries. Yep.
so we're
Apples. We can do all of it.
got to do our housekeeping. Where are they going to get this cocktail?
They are gonna go to Bowie, Maryland.
No.
They're gonna go to designateddrinker.show and you get our cocktails recipe, where you can go to Instagram and follow us to see me make the cocktail. Right?
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
doing new
Yeah.
cocktails this year.
Yeah, we just started that recently.
Yes, and I have a great blooper for the first one.
That's
I
right.
dropped the egg yolk in, which you'll all hear about or heard about.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I mean, just shows that you too are human, Gina.
I am human. I am human.
So if you didn't catch it, it's designateddrinker.show, or you can just scroll down into your episode notes and we'll have links there to make sure you can get to Insta or to our library of libations, because we have this is our 7th season. So there's lots and lots of recipes to be had, including this one.
Gosh, that is crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. So with cocktail in hand, I think it's my turn up bat
Yes.
with my reading. I can't wait. Maybe.
Well, and this is a couples kiss reading, so that's
Yes,
different.
That's
And
your new thing, right?
it's my new thing. I tell people about their personalities like regular, and that's the kisses at the bottom. But at the top of the card, you fold it in half and kiss each other with the card in between. It's really Instagrammable. It's really cute. And you make out of one kiss 2 lip prints. And it's really a neat thing because I can compare them and look at the difference between both the individual kisses and also the kisses of each other and see what is going on directly between a couple. So it's the interaction of the couple directly. I don't know that there's any other kind of reading that does that. It's one of the things that's really cool. So I'm going to write a book.
Awesome.
Okay, so things that jump out at me. You've got a diamond-shaped lip print, which means you're successful. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamond people are everyone's best friend because they're successful and they help other people to succeed. So you recognize people's skills and abilities like Gina does.
Yes, we
You
have that in
recognize your
common.
skills and abilities. You help them to shine. You send them in the right direction to do really well. That kind of thing. All that's the upward point. The downward point is what makes you a diamond. It means you give generously back to your community and you're a good mentor because if you know how to do it, you know how to show somebody else to do it. So you're like exactly. And so you're like the water that raises all boats. So when you do well, you bring others with you. They're like, yay, Louise is here. Woohoo, you sparkle and shine like a diamond. So there's that.
Seems like there's a but here.
No. You do have some stress if you want to talk about things that are going on, like a lot on your mind. It's actually not so much stress as gerbil wheels, which is like gerbils running in their wheels, is how your thoughts are going. So I call that gerbil wheels, and it means you need to do a brain dump. And so getting it all out of your head onto some other media so you can have more fun in the present. And so that's something that's a good idea for you to do. There are some stress lines in the
So right.
lower lip print, which means that you and it's right around the area of digestion, which tells me, which is the center, like the Cupid's bow is the dip in the top middle on the outside. The inner and center part of the lower lip print, I call the area of digestion, meaning whatever's going on with that. And there are some stress lines there, so there may be some, a little stress around your stomach or your digestion and stuff like that. So there's something going on there. But there's also what's called a gourmet lip split. It means you're a foodie, you're particular, but it's like whatever's in the fridge is fine, but if it's supposed to be nice, it better be nice. And you have that full tilt, got it, if it's not nice, I'm not eating it kind of level. And then you've also got okay, it's in the fridge, I need to eat, I'm going to do it, that kind of thing. So there's different levels of that for you. But the extreme gourmet lip split that you do have in one of your lip prints, the second one, indicates that you're not a cheap date. If it's a date, it better be nice.
Where's Dave? We know.
You can be romantic, and you have a good sense of humor. All of that is associated with the gourmet lip split. So I could have looked at this and never met you and know this about you. Okay.
That's crazy.
Actually, magazine editors have sent me lip prints from different people, and I'd met none of them. Done readings on it. Like I'm in the back of one of the Cosmo magazines. Towards the end, they have a whole page with a person and about their personality traits and their lip prints. So there's a lot of, and this was in 2020, I think is when it came out. So I've done a bunch of different things where I'd never met the person, and they were like this one person, she had what's called health marks in the lower lip print, and it means that you might be fighting off a cold or dealing with allergies or something along those lines. And I said this about her, having not met her, and she wrote about it, my reading for her. As I sit here, I've got a pile of Kleenex next to me.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. It's about where you are in the moment. So that's another thing. It's similar to handwriting analysis. It's like a brain print of the present moment. So it's really about where you are in the minute, and it's not necessarily about your whole life, although your personality traits stay the same. So that's going to show up over and over again in these readings. The wider lower lip print for you means that you're someone who, it's like, I heard you the first time. You don't have to repeat yourself.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I say, tell you once, ... on the card. So,
Where's Dave?
And so on Dave's side, speaking of Dave, he is picky. He likes things done a particular way, better be done right. It's very important to him.
You sure you've never met Dave?
Virgo Dave.
His lip print is creative. He needs a creative outlet of some kind, or he's unhappy. So he needs, and it could be like, it doesn't have to be, it's like some people, it's like creativity for some people is not the same for others. But it's a wavy lip print, which indicates there's a creative mind there. So he comes up with creative ways of doing things.
Oh, well, that's an understatement.
Right? And he might have some kind of thing he needs to do in order to be so I think of for men, the guy in the basement in that one series where he's building a boat.
Yeah.
So that's a creative outlet. It doesn't mean he's doing something, like painting art. But it's still an artistic thing, right? It's a creative thing.
Your stairs.
So
Yeah. The windows. Yep.
yeah, all that. So and that's what my dad did. He built on the house. He did paneling, he found teak wood. He went out and went to a barn and got the old wood from a barn and fixed it up and then used that as paneling in the house and built things with it and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's him.
So that's to me, that's very creative. And so creativity isn't just about, singing or playing instruments or painting a piece of art or something like that. It's multiple things, and I think people forget that and think that you have to be famous to be creative, and it's the opposite. It's like, sometimes creative people aren't, or sometimes famous people aren't creative, and they and that kind of thing, or aren't as creative as they're billed to be. So you're a loyal friend. You keep people, so that's something the two of you, as I said, have in common. And as far as you and Gina, and so there's another thing is that. Dave has a strong hug pucker in this lip print. You have to say that carefully because pucker rhymes with other things.
What do you call it?
That's right. And so in all three lip prints, the individual kisses on the page and also when you kiss each other, it's present. And so, but for you, Louise, it's present only for you when you kiss him. And that means that you, so that's a hugging and kissing and affection show up in the hug pucker, right? So that's something that you two have. So when you're kissing him, that aspect comes out of you. But when you're in general, you're not thinking about that, at least necessarily with him. But when he's not kissing you, he's still thinking about it. So there's some attraction there on his part that's really, really strong. And you're attracted to each other when you kiss each other. You definitely have that hug pucker there when you're both kissing each other. So there's a lot of sweetness there. And he's not as good a listener as you are, Louise. So that's another thing. He's
Amen. It's been documented.
So that's something he should be working on because that will help with the relationship. You also
ain't kidding, sister.
Yeah, well, that's really important. Communication is key, and listening is a big part of that. So even when he's kissing you, his actually lip print get less full. The upper one, which is the thinner, when it's thinner in the upper part, that means you may not be a great listener. And all three of them are very thin, and it's actually less thin when he's kissing you, which tells me that he really doesn't listen to you more than he doesn't listen to other people. So that's where I don't always bring these kinds of things up at parties, but I certainly, when I'm doing a deeper reading, I can do that. So my advice is that he takes some active listening practice. He do some of that because it's going to make your relationship and his relationship with everybody better. So active listening is a really powerful technique that he could that would be helpful for him. And basically, that's you've got spiritual lines, and that's very strong in yours. He's got, what's interesting is that he has a little bit of them showing up in these regular lip prints as individual ones, but when he kisses you, he's got more spiritual lines in his lip prints. So What does connect with the two of you is you're connected on a spiritual level. So it's not always coming out in communication, and all of that, but he definitely on some deep level really gets you. And so that's something I'm seeing as well. So, it doesn't always have to happen on the verbal level, but it would be helpful just for practical purposes. He also has something going on with his lower left quadrant of his body. All 3 of his lip prints are showing that he's got what's called an injury mark, or I call it an owie. So something's going on. It could be his hip, his knee, his foot, his low back, something where below the waistline on the left-hand side. And it's all 3 of them. So I just say get a massage, chiropractic, acupuncture, do something about it. And I call it TLC because the body's asking for it, and it's asking for it because it needs to be, and it won't show up if you don't need it.
So on his left side.
On his left side. And it might be his right side that's injured, and his left side is saying, hey, I'm taking all the brunt here. So his left side needs some balancing, some help too. So that's something that's showing up in both all 3 of his lip prints. The color intensity is about the same. You both go, 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 crash, go, 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 crash, go, 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 crash. So you all have, you do a lot of stuff and then you pass out. So there's go, go. I put this in between, crash, between the lip prints on either side so that you can see what's in between. And so I put the personality traits that are to the individual, I put around your own lip prints, and then when there's something that's in common with the 2 of you, I put it in between the 2 sets of lip prints. And so that's how, so you have this cool little card that you can have, you can even, put it on in a frame and such, because it's an 8.5 by 11 page. So it's really fun that way. So I would say that you both could use some rest, according to what I'm saying here, because there's a lot of white space, and especially Louise, you. Yeah. And you also have seeds of change. Another thing you have in common with Gina is that you both have ideas, projects, thoughts, and they've been in the back burner for a bit because you've been too busy to do them. And now you need to do something about them, like at least write the ideas down so you don't forget them, so you're not 3 weeks later going, what was that great idea I had 3 weeks ago? Drat. Yeah. So it's important to do that. Also the fact that you have a V-shaped Cupid's bow. The first thing I was talking about in the beginning, both you and Dave have that. So this is another thing you have in common. That means you have long fuses and big booms at the end. Long term, it's like, okay, I can take it, and then I'm like, bah! And so
that's true.
I say V equals volcano.
That's very true.
Because it's like so people shouldn't get you mad, because if they do, it's like a volcano erupted and they should run and hide. So that's
it takes me a long time to get there, but yeah.
Exactly. As I say, long fuse, big boom at the end. It's not something that happens easily, but when it does, people should run and hide like a volcano erupted. Because that means that they push you too far. And again, when you kiss each other, your lip prints both got darker, which indicates that you have, there's energy and passion between you. So that's cool. And that's another thing that's really awesome. So there's a lot of really sweet things going on between you. I would also say that you and he are even more stubborn with each other than you are individually. So he's very stubborn, period.
Alex, as soon as Ariana's done here, I would like you to grab this raw footage and audio and send it to Dave immediately.
I think that so one of the things that's happening between you is that your lip prints are not stubborn. They're open. You're open to experiences. You're willing to try new things. He's stubborn. He doesn't like to change his mind once he makes a decision. So between the 2 of you, you become more stubborn with him. When you're kissing him, your stubbornness comes out. And his is even more intense. So I think you tend to there may be butting heads here. If you're on the same page, there's nothing stopping you two. But if you're not on the same page, it's like heads butting. And so, again, communication is key there. And I think that as you go forward, you've been together for so long, it's going to be not so hard to just work on that particular aspect and improve it. And you two are just going to be going to even better. Things are going to be even better than they already are, which is really fantastic. So. That's
30 years in.
She was a child bride. That's why.
Child bride. You got me a donkey and 3 acres of land.
16, weirdo.
I always say 12, so that way I get even younger. Well, that's awesome. I love it. We should just do every episode with her.
I know, it's more fun. Right?
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
That's great. So have you ever read, and you kind of touched on this before, have you ever read something and said, I'm just not going to say it?
Sometimes. It depends. If you're at a party, you don't want people crying.
Yeah.
Right? So like any responsible person who's been hired to entertain, you say things, maybe you might say it in a more gentle way or in a way that's not going to create an upset. But if I'm doing a private reading where I'm going for a long time, they've given me permission to go into whatever I find, then I'll go a little deeper. But there's not, the thing about lipsology, so handwriting analysis was designed by people who were figuring out if somebody was a criminal, and it was researched on criminals. Handwriting analysis has a lot of negativity in it. Like I'm not going to tell people they're liars when I'm sitting there at a party, right? So I'm careful about what I say, but I focus on the things that are more neutral or positive, so that people are leaving thinking, "Wow, that's really interesting and cool," and they're not like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person," right? Because the thing is, I think that there's extremes in that. Whereas lipsology was designed by a person who was a fun-loving person, a loving, kind, sweet person. Julie is just the sweetest person you'll ever meet. And so her approach is to lift people up. She's like the person with a triangle personality. She lifts them up. She helps them to shine, puts people in a position to grow. She wants you to get good things out of this. She's wanting to help you, not hurt you. So if I'm not going to beat somebody up with their lip prints. And what I'm going to do instead is tell them, what's the things that can, like, for instance, if I see stress, I talk, and this is what Julie taught me to do, and it's what I would do anyway. I see a lot going on with your thoughts. I say, do a brain dump. Organize those thoughts. Get it out of your head. Take a picture. Keep it in your phone. Don't try to remember every single little thing you've got to do today. Have it in front of you. And then that's going to help. Of course, everybody, often the people who have them, and they still do it.
Yeah.
Right? But this is the idea, is to keep as little of those thoughts running around your brain as possible, so that you then are able to be more present in the present. You've got more, it's easier for things and you're not like trying to, what was that thing I forgot? All that stuff is right down on the page or on your phone or somewhere you can find it easy. That's what that's about. So there's always solutions built into these readings. So that is necessarily considered, that is a negative, seeing gerbil wheels. But it's not something I would focus on as a negative. I'd focus it on as something it's easy to fix or easy to work on.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my approach to all readings. I do that with everything I do. So
that's really awesome.
Do you ever see the movie Weird Science?
Yes.
When Kelly LeBrock's in it?
Yes.
And the guy's feeding the computer all the things, and he puts in a giant picture of the lips.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about. Like, where did that all come from that conversation? I don't know. But I'm like, Kelly LeBrock. That's it. She's it. She's the reason why I'm like, well, I don't know. Do I know anybody with lips? That's her. Meanwhile, I just dated myself. I was a child when that movie came out. Just so you know.
Yeah, I saw the Nickelodeon.
6th grade. I was in 6th grade when that movie came out. So there you go. Do the math.
So you do take on new clients if someone were looking for you to come do an event, like you said, or a private reading?
Constantly, yeah.
Okay, so what we'll make sure that our listeners have in our episode notes and everything that we do, they have the link to get to you. So they don't even have to follow.
Do you
All
fly?
I do.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
people
we'll
have flown me to Canada and to Mexico and other places. Yeah.
There you go.
Now that's it. I'd be like, yes. I only fly to Mexico. I would only pick destinations I like Puerto Vallarta.
Well, I'll be there.
I actually did go to Puerto Vallarta specifically.
Really?
Yeah, it was a destination wedding.
Zona Romantico. There's actually the southern half of Puerto Vallarta is at Zona Romantico.
Well, Love Boat did dock there. I mean,
It did on the northern side though.
I really need that to be real. It's not, but I really need it to be real in my life. What a Valentine's Day episode, huh?
I know, right? So,
yes.
All right, Gina, this is it.
All right, so this is my question, right? So in this day and age, everybody identifies themselves with some sort of spirited animal, right? And like you totally become enchanted by it. And you, in the spirit of love, might identify yourself with a ladybug, and you're just like, roaming the earth and always helping the gardens grow and keeping things in pristine and order, and never showing your age, just with one little dot, right? If you could be one spirit ingredient, how would it define you? And would it be for food or for a beverage?
Okay, that's a cool thing. An ingredient. Chocolate.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Right.
How does it define you? Tell me. I love chocolate.
is it's dark but sweet and flavorful. It comes in all sorts of. It can be light. It can be dark. It can be in between. It's changeable, and it's exotic, and yet it's in every all over the place here. Everyone knows it's where it is in the world, and it's it's just got umami in a way, and it can be sweet, it can be savory, it's a very flexible ingredient, and it's healing. It's a powerful healing tool, and it's a spiritual thing. People do spiritual work with chocolate. It's an ancient Aztec spiritual thing that only the people who were the heads of the powerful people could have that, and it was for the leader, and so they do that as empowerment. And of course, there's caffeine in it, and actually, only caffeine I can ingest. Actually, coffee and tea, I can have them, but if I get too much, it's a problem for my body. So I love the caffeine in chocolate because I can actually use it to keep myself going. It's an amazing thing. It's great without sugar. It's great with sugar. It's an amazing thing.
There you go.
I love chocolate too.
I don't think we've had chocolate before.
I don't think so either, actually.
Well,
I do love chocolate though.
There you go.
He wears a face mask too. They do that in some salons. They do chocolate. They do.
Oh, I believe you.
Like it draws it out. It's cool. All right.
Well,
I love
go.
that.
Chocolate.
Okay.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
There you
Oh,
go. Perfect.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
that was insane. Yes, that was
Yeah.
in sync. I like
Yes.
that too.
Well, cheers, and thank you for all the insights and the wonderful, wonderful things you shared with us. And there's always a good time.
Yeah. Cheers.
What a great way to start
Cheers.
off season 7.
Cheers, Valentine. I
Cheers.
love it.
The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a Latino-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, we craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Roger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, please don't forget to follow, download, and review the shows. Your reviews help our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.